trusting, beautiful Namibia, Namibia, our country, beloved land of savannah, hold the banners of liberty. Namibia, our country, Namibia, motherland, we love you. All unite and celebrate together the victories of our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life. Thank you very much. You might be seated. Honorable Selma Ashpala Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade. Honorable Ryan McNabb, Governor of the HARDAP region. Honorable Antoinette Simon, Local Authority Councillor. Honorable Solomon Boes, Constituency Councillor of Aranos, traditional leaders present, distinguished CEOs, representative of the private sector, captain of industry, senior government officials, ministries and agencies, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Bertha Makali. I am the Director of Information and Research responsible for public diplomacy at the Ministry of International Relations and Trade. This afternoon, I have the privilege to be the Director of Proceeding to ensure the smooth facilitation of our program for the 8th Ministerial Regional Business Engagement by the Ministry of International Relations in collaboration with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. Let me take this opportunity also to welcome our viewers online as we are live streaming this important engagement. This live streaming is made possible through the smart partnership between our Ministry of International Relations and Trade and the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation, NBC. We really want to thank our national broadcaster for coming on board to ensure that no one actually is left out from this important engagement. And we make sure that everybody can watch from their comfort of their offices, of houses, or wherever they are, or even from their mobile device, they can be watching this engagement, or even elsewhere in the world. Just to give you a bit of a background why we are here, I'm sure everybody is interested to know why we're here. In June this year, 2025, our ministry successfully officially launched trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. Now, there we witnessed actually the first export of salt to Nigeria, one of the African countries, in the first African Continental Free Trade Area shipment. What a proud moment. That happened in Walvis Bay in the Orongo region. Now, follow that launch of trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area, the Ministry now of International Relations and Trade, in conjunction now with the Ministry of Industry, Mines and Energy, realized that maybe we can just commence with a regional business engagement to provide information about the continental market so that our business partners can understand how they can take advantage of this market. Now, this engagement serves as a very critical platform for direct engagement between our government and our private sector, including the SMEs. This is a perfect opportunity for traders like you and investors to engage our minister and our presenters here on the challenges and opportunities offered by the AfCFTA. So far, we have covered 7 regions. The first engagement took place in the Rongo region. It was followed by Ochodonjupa, and then Zambezi region, Kavango West, and the Kavango East, Karas region in Luderitz. Yesterday, we just came back from the Karas region in Mariental, and today we are here in Keetman. So we will try to cover all the 14 regions so that everybody cannot be left out. So that is why we are here. So the message will be repeated, and that is the essence of us repeating the message so that it creates a mental picture or mental map in your mind so that you know about this. So as I say, this morning or this afternoon, we are in Mariental, Karas region. We know that this region, HARDAP, sorry. So we just came from Karas. So now it's HARDAP. We are in HARDAP region, Mariental. And of course, we all know that this region is known for its agricultural oriented, isn't it? SMEs also known for culture, and also surrounded by natural attraction. Now, I just want to see from the business people and kept on interest SMS that are here. Can I just see by show of hand, how many are you? How many are here? Wow, very good. Just for our minister to see that at least there are a lot of people here from the business community. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to call upon Honorable Antoinette Simon, Local Authority Councillor, for her welcome remark. Please give the Honorable Simon a round of applause as she makes her way to the podium. Thank you.
Director of Proceedings, Honorable Minister of Industrialization and Trade, Honorable Minister of Mines and Energy, distinguished members of the Namibian business community, esteemed government officials, members of the media and the community of Mariental. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is with both an honor and a privilege to deliver this address on behalf of Her Worship the Mayor, who extends her warm regards and unwavering support for today's engagement. The Ministerial Regional Business Engagement represents a vital platform for inclusive dialogue between government and the business sector. It is a space where policy meets practice and where the voices of entrepreneurs, industrialists, and regional stakeholders are not only heard, but actively integrated into the national development agenda. Her Worship commends the Honourable Minister of Industrialization and Trade and Mines and Energy for initiating this consultative process. By bringing government closer to the business community, we are fostering a culture of transparency, responsiveness, and shared responsibility. The HARDAP region, with its strategic location and untapped potential, stands ready to contribute meaningfully to Namibia's economic transformation. However, we must acknowledge the challenges faced by our local businesses around us, from infrastructure gaps and regulatory hurdles to access to finance and marketing linkages. These are not just statistics, they are lived realities and require targeted, responsive policy interventions. Today's engagement is not merely symbolic, it is a call to action, a commitment to listen, to learn, and to lead with insight. The Mayor believes that the perspectives gathered here will shape trade-supportive policies that are grounded in the realities of our entrepreneurs and aligned with the aspiration of our communities. Let us use this opportunity today to build bridges between government and businesses. Let us ensure that the outcomes of this dialogue translate into tangible progress, positive for the people of HARDAP and Namibia at large. On behalf of Her Worship the Mayor, I thank you for your presence here today, your contributions, and your commitment to a more inclusive and prosperous Namibia. I wish you fruitful deliberations. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Simon, for the warm welcome. We feel welcomed and we can engage now freely. We have a brief program this afternoon. I'm sure everybody got the program there. Next on our program is again my honor and privilege to call upon Honorable Rian McNabb, Governor of the HARDAP region, to deliver his statement. And after delivering his statement, he will also introduce our keynote speaker. Okay. And you can just call after you introduce, after you give your statement, you just call upon the Honorable Minister. Thank you.
God is good. And all the time, HARDAP is blessed. Director of Proceedings, Ms. Bertha Makali, Director of Information, Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, Honorable Solomon Boyce, Regional Councillor and Management Committee of the HARDAP Regional Council, all regional councillors present. I see Honorable Edward Vambu here, and all honorable councillors, all mayors and chairpersons of local authority councillors, in particular Honorable Antoinette Simon, Councillor and Management Committee member, senior officials from the Ministry and the Ministry of Mines and Industries and Energy, Ms. Thandi Ambira from Namra, all traditional leaders and traditional authority councillors, if they are here, the Acting Chief Regional Officer, Mr. Werner Kutsie, and all CEOs and acting CEOs of towns and villages, all heads of offices, ministries of agencies, and very importantly, our business community. This is your time. Our young people of this country, we acknowledge you. Esteemed community members, ladies and gentlemen, media, especially our NBC, thank you that you are informing the nation of what our government is bringing to our region. Good afternoon. It is indeed a great privilege to address you today on the significant opportunities that lie ahead for HARDAP region with the broader continental integration under the African Continental Free Trade Area. According to the 2023 Population and Housing Census, HARDAP region is home to a population of approximately 106,680, with a youthful demographic and a high urbanization rate. This demographic profile provides a solid foundation of human capital that can be leveraged for economic growth and development. Traditionally known for its agricultural potential and livestock farming, HARDAP holds untapped opportunities for diversification, industrial development, and value addition. The emergence of African Continental Free Trade Area offers an unprecedented chance for the region to harness these opportunities by accessing a market of over 1.4 billion people across Africa, with reduced tariffs and enhanced trade facilitation. So as we seek to maximize HARDAP's potential within the African Continental Free Trade Area, focus must be placed on expanding agro-processing industries to add value to our raw materials produced in the region and exporting these products across the continent. Secondly, strengthening our skills development programs tailored for the youthful workforce and enabling them to engage competitively in the evolving markets. We are therefore encouraging investment in logistics and management to improve integration and competitiveness within intra-African trade. The African Continental Free Trade Area thus aligns perfectly with Namibia's national development aspirations by promoting economic diversification, creating employment, and fostering empowerment through expanded trade. I therefore call on all stakeholders, especially our private sector and government institutions and development partners, to collaborate closely in turning these ambitions into tangible outcomes. By doing so, HARDAP region can become a dynamic contributor to Namibia's economic prosperity under the African Continental Free Trade Area framework. In closing, I want to commend the Honourable Minister of International Relations and Trade, for spearheading this dialogue. Thank you so much, Comrade Minister, for your efforts for bringing this great initiative and information sharing session to HARDAP region. Let this not be the end of our engagement, but the beginning of real collaboration and action. Let us go forward boldly and let us drive Namibia's economic prosperity together. It is also my great opportunity at this juncture to introduce our Honourable Minister for our keynote speech for this event. Honourable Ambassador Selma Ashipala Musavi served as High Commissioner of the Republic of Namibia to Ghana, Sierra Leone, Togo, and Ambassador to Benin, Côte d'Ivoire, and Liberia from 2020 until her appointment as Minister of International Relations and Trade on the 22nd of March, 2025. She's an experienced diplomat who in 2017 was appointed by the United Nations Secretary General to serve on his advisory board on disarmament matters and currently serves as its chair. Honorable Ashipala Musavi, please allow me to call you and speak to us as HARDAPians. Thank you.
Please, let's take our seats. Thank you very much, Honorable Governor, for giving me the floor. Our Governor, Ryan McNabb, Governor of HARDAP region, one of the most active governors I know. All regional councillors present here, and I'm informed we are also joined by other mayors. Let me also recognize the local councillor, Antoinette Simon, local councillors from other towns, representatives of the private sector, senior government officials, member of the media, and I see my sister, Mime Mungunda, good to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Our nation is mourning with the people of HARDAP region, and Marienthal in particular, following the very tragic accident that claimed so many young lives. And I wish to extend my heartfelt condolences to the people of this region, family members of the entire region, for the loss of life, including members of the security cluster in HARDAP region. May we all keep the bereaved families in our prayers, and may they all be comforted during this difficult time. And I think you will all agree with me, as Namibians, having lost our sons and daughters in honor of their lives, that we perhaps be upstanding and observe a minute of silence in their honor. May their gentle souls rest in perfect peace. Thank you very much. Honorable Governor, ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank local Councillor Simon for the very warm welcome to Marienthal, a welcome done on behalf of the mayor. We are very grateful. Let me also thank you for welcoming us with a very beautiful song. Now I know I'm in the south. So thank you very much. I also want to thank our governor. I know it's Friday afternoon. You had a very successful session in the morning, and here you are still engaging with us. We don't take it for granted. We have a country to build, and I think it's important that we continue to engage. So thank you so very much for your presence. Honorable Governor, this is the first time that we meet face to face since your appointment as governor. So I want to take this opportunity to publicly congratulate you for your brilliant and well-deserved appointment as governor of this region. I also want to congratulate you on your maiden State of the Region address, which I have followed with keen interest, where you were explaining on how you want to optimize the opportunities in this region. And on behalf of myself and my colleagues from the ministry, I want to assure you of my readiness to work with you and your team so that we can realize the untapped potential of HARDAP region. In the new era of business unusual, Her Excellency President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, in an effort to better bring on service delivery and minimizing duplication and overlap through the government system, has combined the portfolio of international relations with trade and investment, and created the Ministry of International Relations and Trade. On the trade portfolio, therefore, we are responsible for external trade and investment promotion. Our task is to bring about wider market access for Namibian goods and services, and also for the producers and consumers to be able to sell, source, and have inputs globally at a competitive price. Now, for Namibia to be able to trade externally, it goes without saying that there must be local production and upscaling of services. Therefore, the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy is responsible for internal commerce and related regulation, industrialization objectives of government by supporting industries, SMEs, and putting in place policies that will increase production capacities and the diversification of products at the national level. I wanted to clarify that distinction so that you as business people know where to direct your queries. Informed by the theme, Unity in Diversity, Natural Resource Beneficiation and Youth Empowerment for Sustainable Development, a theme that speaks to national cohesion, the ministry initiated this outreach for us to come together with local businesses and SMEs in all our 14 regions in order to create viable solutions. Therefore, this engagement is meant to foster a conducive business environment and enable the ministry to hear directly from the businesses. We are not here to preach to you, we want to hear from you. It's not a once-off event, and I think that was alluded to by our governor. We want to remain engaged, especially with our local business people. This will allow us to better understand the challenges related to export, such as difficulties in reaching wider markets, access to trade, information pertaining to trade facilitation, as well as non-tariff barriers. Equally, we also want you to be exposed to opportunities that are out there. Now, HARDAP has distinguished itself as a region that thrives in the areas of tourism, gemstone mining, dairy products, beef, mutton, game, crop farming, as well as many others. What we need to do is to upscale the production capacity and diversity the products produced in this region in order to take advantage of the regional, continental, and global markets. The governor was talking about the African Continental Free Trade Area. So we want to access those markets. We should also prepare ourselves to take part in the value chains, both at the national level, regional and continental level, because that is what the African Continental Free Trade Area is all about, which one of my colleagues is going to explain. Now, Honorable Governor, every region has a competitive advantage. No region is the same. Something that makes that region stands out in this ecosystem of diversity. What we would like to hear, apart from tourism, gemstone mining, and everything that I have mentioned, what are other products and services are in this region that we can maximize for export? Secondly, what are other goods and services in HARDAP region that government might have overlooked? You live here, you know the region better. So what we want to know is, these are some of the issues, these are the lowest hanging fruits in HARDAP region that we need to optimize so that we can then assist with market access. Of course, we are here to engage with the business sector because it is business that creates wealth. Government can only create the conducive environment, but government can only do that when we know and understand what the local businesses are grappling with. In this context, I wish to also invite Namibian businesses and SMEs to make use of our diplomatic missions. We have 34 diplomatic missions all over the world. And in addition of what they are tasked to do, to create conducive relations between Namibia and the countries they serve, they are also expected to assist you, the business people. There is nothing that prevents you from engaging with our embassy anywhere in the world. Explain the businesses that you are involved in and ask them to create either market access for you or to link you up with another company in that region in the same business. That is what they are there to do. Information is power. And this is why I'm sharing with you this information so that we really also assist our embassies, not to grapple looking for opportunities, but it's also, you should be proactive. And if they are not giving you that assistance, you know which door to knock. In addition, I also want to inform you that the government has allocated all our embassies to different regions. For example, an ambassador who is based in Japan, for example, is assigned to a region. And that assignment is twofold. One, that is now in addition to what they usually do. One, they are supposed at least to bring a business or businesses to that region. Secondly, they are also supposed to bring a humanitarian project to that region, whether it's renovating a school or a ward at the clinic, anything that is of humanitarian nature. So, Governor, the ball is in your court. I will inform you which embassies are assigned to your region, and you keep them busy to assist the business people in the HARDAP region. In conclusion, as I said, we are here to have a conversation. I look forward to hearing from you in terms of what it is that we can do together. Government and business must work together to bring about prosperity of our people. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much for our Honorable Governor and our Minister for their food for thought remarks. We move on with our program, and next on our program is going to be presentations by our stakeholders to deliberate on more in detail on the opportunities offered by the African Continental Free Trade Area and also what opportunities offered by their ministries and agencies. As I mentioned before, these regional engagements serve as a platform to understand your challenges, your pain, and possible to hear from you. So kindly do listen attentively, jot down some questions, and when we have the question and answer session, you can ask your questions. So let me first call upon the first presenter, who is Mr. Aster Nashikaku. He is the Acting Deputy Executive Director in the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, to come and present on his presentation. Welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much, directors of proceeding. And allow me, please, to stand on the protocol that have already been observed. Obviously, my name is Asena Shikaku. Good afternoon. My presentation is going to be very short. It's really going just to touch on the AfCFTA. What is that the FTA is going to bring for Namibia, so that at least it provides us with the opportunity to engage during the question and answer session. Just really, as a background, I'll go straight that at least our forefathers already in 2012 decided that Africa should be able to trade with each other. We were not trading with each other before as much as really that we wanted to. We used to trade only with EU, which is so far away from us. And therefore, negotiations then have commenced. Already in 2016, negotiations have commenced with the modalities for negotiations. And thereafter, the agreement was then negotiated and agreed upon. Already in 2018, the agreement was then presented to the member states, who are 55 member states in Africa, to sign on the agreement. And of course, probably just to inform the House that there are a number of issues that member states are supposed to be fulfilling for you to be able then to start participating. One of each was to sign onto the agreement, ratify the agreement, and gazette this particular agreement. Once you conform to those, then you should be able to start trading. In other words, your goods have now to start moving from one area within the continent to another. And as the Honorable Governor has stated, we need to be able to scale up production in order to take advantage of this particular agreement. The opportunity is huge, and there have been really objectives. Why this particular agreement? Why should we be able then to trade among each other? The first objective was, let's have a broad market within Africa. That was the objective. Let us not limit ourselves within Africa, within the country, nationally. The second objective had been then, let's try to industrialize Africa. I think Africa remains one of the continents that have not been industrialized as much as we wanted to have. And then the third objective had been, let's at least stimulate investment. It's only through investment that you should be able then to industrialize as well and to grow the continental economy. With that, obviously, I think those are some of the issues that I have then highlighted. Then we continue to say, what is that we are going then to negotiate, so that we are able then to arrive at what we want really to achieve. We say, let's have a number of protocol or negotiations. The first protocol had been the protocol on trade in goods. It then allows you now to determine, I produce a product, is an African product, it can go now to the continental market on a preferential trade arrangement. That only means duty-free. Your product is moving without any problems. The others have then been trade in service, a very important protocol, which is then the one, and I'm going really just to articulate now the trade in services, the areas of trade in services that centered around transportation, communication, tourism, business services, financial services. Those ones also are allowed. You can have export in terms of trade in services. And obviously to support all this, you need now to have what we call a protocol on the rules and procedure for dispute settlement. When you find yourself that we have agreed, but why are you not allowing my product to enter Ghana? Then we have now to unlock this particular protocol. Of course, as I'm moving towards the end, there are other protocols that was also important. Protocol on competition policy, investment policy, intellectual property rights. And I think intellectual property right is important because it's going to protect your innovation as well. But then we have then a protocol on women and women and youth. That is just to facilitate women to trade better within the continent. And then we also have the protocol on e-commerce or digital trade. You use your digital means in order to be able then also to trade. I'm going to move towards now the end because of the short period of time that we have, and I hope we now understand really the key aspect of it by even just saying that Namibia have then developed what we call the National Implementation Strategy and Action Plan, a document that we all should be able to have. The ministry is going to share with you. That one will be able then to unlock the AfCFTA to ensure that Namibia do benefit from it. With that, I think the opportunity is huge. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I've already mentioned about all those issues. Potential opportunities huge for each and everybody, business people, those in agriculture and tourism. The opportunity is huge. And lastly, probably, the challenges that we are going to face, we should be able also to address them. High competition, we are going to see products coming in as well. Of course, I only have 1 minute. I'll be able to finalize now. And obviously, we understand the issues of limited financing. We should be able to engage on this one to see how we can be able to address that as well, and so on and so on. With that, really, just to conclude to say that there are a number of tools that are available. Some of them is what we call the non-tariff barriers monitoring, evaluation, and elimination mechanism. And the other one is a tool that we are going to share with you so that you can be specific to know what are the duties that are applicable in a particular country, or what are the products that are available for you to be able to export. With that, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Nashikaku, for that in-depth presentation on the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to boost intra-Africa trade, promote industrialization, and reduce poverty on the African continent. Next on our program, I would like to call upon Mr. Rino Muranda, responsible for stakeholder relations from the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, to make his presentation. Round of applause. Thank you.
Good afternoon. And I would also want to stick to the protocol that was established by the Director of Ceremony so that we can get on to the business. Now, as Mr. Nashikagu was speaking, he was indicating that one of the objectives of this agreement is to promote investments. And I'm here to present to you what the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board does and the services that it offers to our stakeholders. So our mandate is to basically investment promotion, development and facilitation. That's the one leg of it. The other leg is MSME development. So MSME, for these purposes, would be micro, small, and medium enterprise development. So what do? We do three things. The first one is to attract, to bolster, and then to connect. How do we do this? We do investment attraction events and conferences. We do marketing awareness. We do business-to-business meetings, business-to-government meetings, and targeted promotion and missions. We identify, package, and showcase, sometimes also champion investment-ready projects, and then connect those projects to institutional investors as well as skills. In terms of facilitation role that we play, we have a pipeline of investment-ready projects. We do exploratory visits, information sharing like we are doing now, business registrations. We assist with facilitation of visas and permits applications, and then attainment of licenses, partnerships, aftercare support, business rescue and retention, as well as business investigation and compliance. We also assist with policy framework in terms of policy advocacy. We assist with inputs into various policy frameworks to create an investment or conducive investment environment. So what we do, very key things, facilitation, we provide coordination, we provide a one-stop service so that if an investor comes in, we've got various OMAs, offices, agencies, and ministries that are responsible for investor services. For instance, business registrations like BIPA, we have on-site, NAMRA, we have an agent on-site. Then we coordinate so that the investor can get into one-stop service, and then they are able to be serviced to achieve the registration and the paperwork and the permits that they require at the end of the day. So our main objective in attracting local and foreign investment, the key is to create jobs, export promotion, import substitution, technology absorption, infrastructure development, local supply chain development. That's where the space that the MSMEs are playing, regional development, so that we know what is it, like the Honorable Minister was saying, what is it that is unique, what is it that we can develop from this region. We package ready those projects, and then when we look for investors, that is basically the matchmaking that we'll be doing at that end. Currently, we have a pipeline, investment pipeline of about 224 million. About 27% of that is in agriculture and food processing. Renewable energy is around 26%. Our priority sectors for economic diversification is in food industry, transport and logistics. We're looking at tourism and sports, and many others that are listed there. Renewable energy, basically green hydrogen, oil and gas are also part of the priority sectors. As far as our MSME development is concerned, our objective is to graduate the current database of employees that we have, MSMEs that we have, 55% of them in our database. From when they registered, we want to move them to the next phase in terms of growing. We want to unlock about 100 million worth of funding for the MSMEs and startups by 2028. Also, we want to have, by 2028, about 10,000 MSME database, as well as 3,000 business support organizations. And the aim really is to coordinate MSME and startup activities across all levers of the economy. So our focus then would be looking at access to finance for MSMEs, information sharing, business development, scaling them up, those that I want to start them up, building networks for them, advocate for policy reforms, and then market access and export promotion. Some of the success stories around in these regions, since we started in Karas and now we are in HARDAP. Karas, we have the Benguela Blue Aqua Farming Salmon Project. We also have the kelp blue pilot, and in the HARDAP region in particular, we have the Nobel carbon farming. Those are some of the projects that were facilitated by the board. So if the MSMEs that are present here wants to, and those that are listening at home, wants to be part of this database, those are the links that you can follow for investment opportunities as well as for MSME services. That would conclude my presentation, and I will be happy to take further questions if there are when we open up the Q&A session.
Thank you, Mr. Muranda, for that short and informative presentation on the service offered to the stakeholders by the NIPDB. Next on our presentation is going to be Ms. Tandi Hambira from the Namibia Revenue Agency. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to stand on the protocols as already established by the Director of Ceremonies. As was indicated, I'm Tandi Ambira, and I'm going to take you through the rules of origin. Now, we might be asking, what are rules of origin? In each and every trade agreement, there are rules of origin that governs how trade should be, how goods should be traded under that particular trade agreement. Now, in terms of the AfCFTA, the rules of origin are a set of criteria and conditions that is used to determine as to whether a product qualifies to be traded under that particular trade agreement between state parties. To qualify as originating goods. Now, rules of origin equally determines the economic nationality of a product. Now, me and you, when we travel, we do have a passport that identifies us as nationals of Namibia. And that is practically or basically the same for goods that are traded from Namibia. Because if it moves from Namibia with a certificate of origin, that then certifies that that product is indeed a product manufactured in Namibia or it was extracted from the soil of Namibia. Now, rules of origin are also basically used to assess as to goods are eligible for duty-free or reduced rate when you are trading with other member states under the AfCFTA. Now, the question here is, why are rules of origin important? It is important because a product should meet the criteria as set up, and then it also ensures then that if the rules of origin are correctly applied, that you receive the preferential treatment. If goods are sent under the agreement, hypothetically from Namibia to Ghana, that's hypothetically, without a certificate of origin, you would pay the full duties that are applicable. But if you have a certificate of origin, it's either that the goods enter Ghana either at zero rate or at a reduced rate of duty. And rules of origin are also very important to promote industrialization. We have heard when the Honorable Minister was speaking, equally when the Governor was speaking, in both their speeches, they mentioned value addition, they mentioned industrialization. So in that regard, rules of origin are very important because that aspect of industrialization, that of value addition, and that of economic diversification is key. Now, how do we determine the origin of goods under the AfCFTA? There are two main criteria under rules of origin, under the AfCFTA rules of origin, it is either that goods are wholly obtained, meaning it's wholly already tells you it's something that occurs naturally, or there's a substantial transformation. There was a change in the manufacturing or the production of that product. I'll further explain. Now, your wholly obtained goods, we do have grapes in the house and care area, etc. Those are wholly obtained because it was planted from seeds. Even if the seeds are imported, as long as it's planted in our soil and the harvest is from our soil, it then becomes a product of Namibian origin. We have beef, we have meatco, we have auko. That beef is Namibian beef, but the cattle must be born and raised in Namibia. We cannot import beef from Botswana, even if it's the same agreement, and then slaughter it here and export. It would not qualify. The rule is it must be born and raised in Namibia. And then we have our fish. But in order for our fish to qualify, that fish must be caught with a vessel that is registered in Namibia. It must sail a Namibian flag. Alternatively, at least 50% of the officers of a vessel. Now, your officers are normally your first engineer, your bosun, all those. They are called officers. So 50% of them must be Namibian. Alternatively, 40% of the crew members on that vessel must be Namibian. If not, then 50% of shareholding of that particular vessel must be Namibian. Then only would it qualify as products of Namibian origin. Now, we have earlier on alluded to the fact of there must be a substantial transformation. Now, the word itself, substantial transformation, indicates that there must be a process that results in a change from the original product. There must be a change in form, in appearance, in the nature or the character of the product in order to qualify. Now, in terms of substantial transformation, there are 4 key criteria that one needs to either subscribe to or conform to. And these are your specific processes. There must be a change of tariff. There must be, again, value addition, or there is the non-originating material content. We do know that we do not have a lot of raw material, but there is provision if you so import raw materials from outside to then further manufacture. Now, in terms of specific processes, we do know that we do have diamonds, right? Botswana also have diamonds. Say Botswana mines diamonds, it's raw diamonds. They cannot cut it, they cannot polish it. They can bring it to Namibia. And then the cutting, the polishing takes place here. Namibia would then export that. It would still qualify. But then we must be mindful that under specific processes, if you just, like I alluded to, import cattle and you slaughter and you sell, export, it would not qualify. If you import sugar from Swaziland in bulk and you package it here and export, it would also not qualify. So in certain, the rule here is always look at what does the product specific rule requires. And then once you meet that requirement, then we are good to go and export our products. Now, in terms of a change of tariff, we can import grapes. We do have grapes, right? But we can also import grapes from South Africa. We can import the sulfur dioxide from Zambia. And then we can have the wine manufacturing process here in Namibia, or Maruru wineries, for instance. And then that final product would then qualify as wine made in Namibia. Then there's the aspect of substantial transformation. With the substantial transformation, it then goes back to the value addition that you add into the product. So if the rule says the added materials must not exceed 40% of the ex-works price, so 60% is allowed. The 40% must be local. So it's always good to just liaise with us. We'll take you through the process and explain as to whether a product qualifies or not. Then there is the aspect of non-originating materials. You can import from China, from Brazil, from Uruguay, and then have a transformation. So there is an allowance of a certain percentage of material that is not originating within the region that can be put into the final product and then be exported. Now, you need to apply through NAMRA when you want to export your goods or to be certified. Now, all manufacturers basically are required to apply through NAMRA. You complete a manual application form. We would then go to your premises and see what are your manufacturing processes. Are you really manufacturing or harvesting that which you are claiming that you are harvesting? Once we are satisfied, we would then give you authorization number. And then with that authorization number, you would then export your goods. Now, what is required for you to export? We would need a company registration certificate from you that you would obviously get from BIPA. We would need a brief company profile, an export permit if and where it's applicable. If it's fish, for instance, we would need proof of right holding, a proof of your identity, and then your manufacturing processes or your producer or supplier's declaration, because sometimes you might not be the supplier or the manufacturer of a good. So the actual manufacturer will just give you a declaration to say, I, Thandi, am the manufacturer, I sold it to Esther, and she can then export it further. In terms of the certificate of origin, NAMRA would issue a certificate of origin once you complete the form, and then once you have completed the form, we would basically, at the point of exit, stamp and certify that certificate of origin that would accompany your goods. And that is then a certificate of origin under the AfCFTA. As it was alluded, in June we had our first export under the AfCFTA. We have 4 companies registered to date, but next year this time we would want to have at least 10 more from the HARDAP region, just to see our products across our borders to our African member states. And with that, I thank you, and I will be open for questions later.
Thank you, Ms. Ambira, for that clarity on the rule of origin. We will be having questions later, so our presenters must keep their presentation short. And next to present is our last presenter by Ms. Phineas Shinyala from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy to present and give an outline on the opportunities and program offered by his ministry. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phineas Jonas Shinyala. I'm from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. And I stand in the protocols already established. So I am going to briefly take you through, as we heard from our Honorable Minister and also from Mr. Nashikaku, that the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy is responsible mainly for industrial development. I'm going to take you through the industrial policy and also through the SME policy. Within the industrial development policy, that is a policy for big manufacturers, we are going to see those or discuss those displayed programs. One main important is special economic zones, and we also going to briefly take you through the industrial upgrading and modernization program, and I am going also to take you through SME policies. Yeah, the issue is that we have got very limited time, and sometimes you have to rush. For that, I apologize. Yeah, also, let me start with the sites and premises. It's a program that is created to support infrastructure development in the country. And this is, in this program, we work with regional councils, we work with municipalities to create industrial parks and SME parks. On the issue of industrial upgrading and modernization, it's a grand program that supports big manufacturers with expanding their factories, importing machineries, and also to improve technology and the product development. Regarding special economic zones, it's a model or it's a regime that supports investors mainly to ensure that they have got less corporate tax rate. They also assisted with custom duties. We also assist them with VAT exemptions at some times, not every day. This has to be done with NAMRA. And we also create a system for accelerated depreciation on the capital allowances. We also try to create a special regime for green industry support. What are we expecting from these investors then? We are expecting them to invest in Namibia, and also local investors can participate in the regime. We are expecting to grow our economy through this system. We expect decent employment, skills transfer. Local content is also very important. They should be able to connect their transactions in sourcing from local businesses. We also support green, we expect them to support us with green industrialization and so on. Sorry for rushing. Yeah, in terms of SME policy, we have those programs displayed. The first one is equipment aid scheme, which is a grant program supporting SMEs with machines, tools, and the raw materials. We also have the gemstone cutting and polishing. Gemstone cutting and polishing is a program that trains individual people to learn skills on how to polish and cut gemstones. They can also qualify to work in the diamond industry, where we have got manufacturing of cutting and polishing of diamonds. We also assist in the promotion of value chain of SMEs. We also have Impretech program. Impretech program is a Namibia entrepreneurship development program that through which we develop skills of entrepreneurs. They learn management, they learn how to deal with HR issues, they learn how to do bookkeeping, and they also get assistance in areas of product development and the areas like, how can I put this, like incubation and all other elements that a business needs to be able to grow, or to start from small, and then you upscale through that those activities. Sorry for rushing. Yeah, I wanted to conclude because the time is very short. Here I wanted to conclude by saying that yes, we have got programs. Sometimes these programs have got very little funds to support almost most of the SMEs in the country. We always try to indicate that yes, we are supporting SMEs. We have issues of chronic limited resources. And industrialization is not a cheap exercise, so we need to ask for further funding so we are able to support industrialization. If you look at how much resources we spend in other sectors that are mainly consumption related, it's incredible. We need also to make sure that SMEs and industrial development is well funded so we can achieve industrialization. With those few words, I thank you all. Thank you very much. scared this thing might fall.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shiala, for your presentation. We actually want to have more time for engagement, so we keep the presentation short so that at least we can have time for you. To this point, ladies and gentlemen, I think we come to the end of our presentation by our stakeholders. And at this moment, let me indicate that our live streaming with NBC will only cover the opening session up to the vote of thanks. And after that, we will excuse our media partners, and then we go straight into the closing session, where we're going to have question and answer and also networking with our business community and our Honorable Minister and the stakeholders. With that said, now it's my pleasure to call upon Honorable Solomon Boyce, Constituency Councillor of Aranos, to give us a vote of thanks. A round of applause, thank you.
Good afternoon. It's a short and sweet day, and I like it. Yeah, Honorable Minister, Honorable Governor, the delegation of the Honorable Minister, let me say thank you on behalf of the HARDAPians. Today was a special day for our region. Our brains are fully packed with information because we are in this chamber since this morning. Morning was oil and gas industry. We have received a lot of information. Information was shared properly. This afternoon, it's trade, industrialization, and many other presentations. Now, HARDAPians, it's now us to position ourselves in such a way that we benefit out of this information. It is evident that our government is really serious with these regional consultations, that the government is serious in bringing services and information closer to the people they are serving. So let's not sit there and just point fingers. Let's keep the people in the offices busy by demanding information. You have realized that it was short presentations, but we have an office here in the region, Trade and Industry Office. Visit the office. And with these few words, the HARDAPians, really you have shown your commitment and your interest by sitting in this chamber as from this morning. Thank you very much. Share the information. Honorable Minister and your team, thanks a lot. If you travel, we are praying for travel mercies for you, and I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Boyce, for that sweet vote of thanks. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the opening session of the 8th Ministerial Regional Business Engagement. Can I quickly ask you to rise for the AU and national anthems?